So I think we're going to look at the first time, I think, that I appeared at the Albert. And it was for the Les Mis 10th anniversary concert. All the members of the audience would be given one of these to do that. Interesting to note, that was none of the people who were in the show that night. I don't know who they are. They must have been the current cast. We nearly didn't have a show. We hadn't really rehearsed it. And it kept going over and over its time and too long, and things weren't done. Eventually the decision was made we were going to have to delay the opening, so all the audience are waiting outside, not being allowed in because we still hadn't finished the show. Finally, they said, well, we've got to just go for it. Something magical happened. There was an electricity in the building. And it just flew. There is only one moment that we went, oh, and it's when the little girl came out to sing Castle on a Cloud. And they put balloons in the roof, and one of them popped just as she was about to start. And this girl, I mean, what, she 10, 11, maybe younger, she jumped and then just carried on as if nothing happened. That moment, you think, oh, go on, girl. And she never lets us down. Valjeans from all over the world came down waving their flags to join in. It was incredibly emotional, and it was one of those shows that lends itself to that kind of big statement. I've got to say as well, this was a real challenge for me because I'd been in the original cast of Les Mis, but I'd had to withdraw from it. I got sick and was experiencing some serious mental health issues, some panic attacks that made it so I thought that I could never go on the stage again. And they were triggered many times by Les Mis having to go into work, and I withdrew from the production. Cameron Mackintosh had faith and released me from my contract, but 9 months later said, come on, you need to get back and see if you can still do this, and cast me in Phantom of the Opera. So this was the first time I'd gone back to Les Mis. It really meant I could put that period of my life behind me. To be able to look it in the eye and said, no, I've conquered you now. That was a good feeling. Oh my goodness, Andrew Lloyd Webber's 50th birthday celebration, 1998 this was. I think this has to be one of the best nights backstage and on stage that I've ever been a part of. There's me casually there, Glenn Close there, you know, it's how it was. Bloody good lighting in those days, wasn't it? Antonio Banderas, Boyzone, Sarah Brightman, I sang with Sarah, Kiri, Elaine Page, of course, Donny Osmond. I mean, it was just, I was literally the only one in the cast I'd never heard of. I got a real bond with Antonio, and I remember him coming into the dressing room and he started whistling. And I am paranoid about people whistling in the theatre, concert hall. It's bad luck. You're going to have to go out, turn around 3 times, spit, swear, knock, and ask to be let back in. He goes, what the hell am I doing this for? That was a cue for the flyman to bring in one of the flies. They'd come down. If you whistled in the wrong place and they brought it in, you'd kill an actor. That's why it's bad luck. He would, Jesus, I must go do this. So he went out, turned around 3 times, spit, swear, knocked, asked to be let back in. So he did it again. And I went, Antonio, out. You know it. He went, sorry, I'm so bad. Did this, I think, 4 times. Up to the point where he started whistling, went, I go. And he would go without me having to tell him. And he goes on and he knocks it at the park with Phantom of the Opera. He was obviously doing Shay as well. Melanie Griffith, who he was then, of course, married to, comes backstage. She starts whistling and he goes, no, you can't do this. You go out of the building, you turn around 3 times, you spit or you swear and you ask to be let back in. You know nothing about the theatre. True story. But the very end, one of my proudest moments was leading the company singing Love Changes Everything. So there's everybody, but they left me the big B flat at the end to sing on my own. You'll see Glenn looking over at me with a real look that I cherish to this day. And then afterwards, me and the boys from Boyzone behaved so badly. We nicked Andrew's birthday cake. We just had the time of our lives. It's one of my fondest memories. The reason there's an archive here, the reason there are so many people who want to come and see and be part of the magical history of this place is because it's one of the most unique and loved and special venues in the world. Buildings like this have ghosts, good ghosts, and these ghosts are the ghosts of performances past. people who've walked through these doors and have performed here. Everybody wants to do it at least once, to headline, to have appeared here. And so for me, I'd sung here before, but this for me was the moment, 1999, when I headlined my own show. From the stage, if you get a chance to have a look at it, do. It is stunning. And it looks like a Roman Colosseum in a bit, you know. It's a little bit overwhelming. When it's empty, it looks awe-inspiring and intimidating. When it's full, it's like a giant hug. That's the only way I can describe it. It is like a big hug of a building. It was a pinch me moment to go, look, they'll never be able to take this away from me. I'm headlining my own show at the Royal Albert Hall. One of the proudest moments still is, people say to me all the time, what venues are your favourite? There are bigger, there are more modern, there are more technically dexterous. Without question, it's one of my favourite places to perform and one of my favourite places to visit. I bloody love it here.